Hello, it is Shayna Garcia, IFBB Bikini Pro, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are just in one of the fitness rooms here at Cult Fitness, or posing rooms here at Cult Fitness, and we decided to change it up a little bit because we are due for a Q&A. And every time I do put a Q&A on Instagram, I never get through all of them, so we thought we'd bring some juicy ones on here. And I did post a story yesterday and earlier in the week, and we got some juicy questions. We got a lot of questions, so I don't know if we're gonna get through them all, but we're just gonna like go with the flow and choose as we go. All of these questions are questions that I haven't gone over properly or have thought about answering, so we're just gonna go through them randomly, and you're gonna get the real responses and reactions from here. Okay? There's a lot of like dating ones. There's a lot of spicy ones about the industry, but I'm just gonna go random, okay? But I wanted to start with this one. What's the real difference between being a pro athlete and an amateur? Now, obviously I've been in both positions already and currently a pro athlete. Now, I remember when I was an amateur athlete, my history of being an athlete as an amateur was, I can't say it was smoother, but it's a totally different ballgame once you get into the pro part of this sport. When I was an amateur, I did start off winning first place in all of my division, and I got the overall win in my first show, and then I turned pro at my first national show. That's when I was with a different federation to start, and then I moved into IFBB. And when I did go into IFBB as well, I also had a very strong start. I just missed out on the overall win, and then I went back the year after, and then I got my pro card in that season there. So as an amateur, I never got any lower than first place, and so I always just expected first place. But when I got into the pro part of this sport, I would say I put in the same efforts that I always did as an amateur, but I totally forgot that I'm up against people that are the best of the best in the world. And when you are an amateur athlete, it doesn't mean that the amateurs aren't working hard enough. It's just that the mindset and the skill that everyone has on stage is in a completely different level. It's in the exact same position as yours or even more. And I remember when the first couple of athletes came out for my first pro show, I was like, damn, everyone is so good at posing. Everyone is on their A game. Everyone looks amazing. And I was like, this is not the same. When I was in my amateur league, I kind of knew, that person there, probably 2 or 3 people that I would say are kind of like a threat at the moment, but I got this. But when I got to the pro stage, I was like, oh, okay, I don't know who's gonna win. Everyone looks so good and everyone is just on top of their game right now. So the difference between being an amateur and a pro is that the pro people have earned their pro cards and everyone is on the same or on a higher level than you. And so you gotta be on top of your posing, you gotta be on top of your training and making sure that everything is on point, or you push beyond limits, because it's not the same. It's just a whole nother level. With the sport evolving right now as well, everyone is just getting better, and the amateurs are even getting better these days too. Would you date someone who doesn't understand prep life? I think in my first Q&A, I had someone ask me something very similar, but they asked me if I would date anyone that was into bodybuilding, or if I would date someone that wasn't into bodybuilding. So would I date anyone that doesn't understand my prep life? No, because competing and bodybuilding is a huge part of my life and my career, and it's a lifestyle. And if someone doesn't understand my prep life, then I'm gonna end up resenting that person, because I'm doing what I love and I'm not just doing it as a chore. So if you're gonna take something away from me or make me feel bad for doing something that I love doing, then there's not gonna be any value in this connection. Have I ever dated someone that didn't understand prep life? Yes, which is why I'm so confident in saying no now, because when it comes to relationships, it's about giving way, and you both need to meet in the middle and compromise for each other and understand each other's lifestyles, and it's all about that support. When it feels like someone is taking away value from your life, or you feel like you're sacrificing so much and you're feeling unhappy, then it's not gonna work, so no. Do you actually enjoy prep or just the validation after? I really like this question. Now, for anyone that gets into competing, you need to be competing for the right reasons. Now, if it's just for validation, then you are not in this sport for the right reasons. Now, you do get, I would say, a little bit more validation and attention when you're in prep and you're cutting and you post your stuff on social media. Yes, but my history of competing, that was not the main drive. And I didn't have the followers that I have right now. I definitely didn't have the audience that I have right now. When I got into competing, I got into it because I wanted to compete. I wanted to challenge myself. And when I was winning, that was honestly the cherry on top. Obviously, I like winning now. But that wasn't like, the validation wasn't the reason why I got into it. If you are after validation in this sport, you are not going to enjoy the process if you don't get what you want. And so this is like a sport where you really have to understand that it's about constructive criticism. You might not always win. There's only going to be one winner. And if you don't get what you want and you're going to be unhappy and you're not getting the attention that you like, you're not going to enjoy the sport. So yes, I do actually enjoy prep because this is how I've lasted in the game for so long, but no, I do not do it for validation. Are you soft in love or all business? Okay, I'm gonna be real with you guys, okay? So back in the day, when I first started my business, I would say I was soft in love. So like anything that had to do with like dating and relationships, if it went downhill, then so did my business. And this is the very start of it. But now, I can't say I'm like all business, but business is always number one for me. I do prioritize my clients, my lifestyle, my athletes, my lifestyle clients, and just business in general, because it genuinely makes me happy when I see progress in my athletes and my clients. But like love has always been quite temporary. So for me, like business is always gonna be there for me. So now I'm not soft in love. I'm soft in business, and I want to make sure that that's number one because business doesn't let me down. But no, I wouldn't, right now at this point, no, I wouldn't say I'm soft in love, no. Have you ever been told you wouldn't make it? Oof, oof. Yes, I have. And I still remember when I first brought up the fact to some friends and people that I wanted to get into bodybuilding, because I started off as like this skinny little Asian, still a tiny Asian, but you know, we made some gains now. But when I first started, yes, there was a lot of people that were like, oh, you want to get into bodybuilding? Like, okay, then if you don't make it, like, what are you gonna do after that? And I was like, damn, like, I'm showing you guys what I'm capable of. But I'm telling you right now, like, nothing drove me more than people not believing in me. That made me believe in myself even more, because I was like, I'm gonna put in the work. I'm gonna show you guys that I can do this. But yes, I have been, I have been told that I would say no one ever went, no, you're not gonna make it. But people have always kind of made it seem like, okay, like, let's be serious, or, you know, are you sure that's what you want to do? Like, if that doesn't work out, you know, just like kind of putting the idea down. But I damn sure made that I was going to make it. And here we are now. I think I answered that in my last questionnaire, actually. My parents were like, okay, so be serious though. If after this show that you do, what do you really want to do? And I was like, I want to become a professional bodybuilder. But my parents didn't understand what a professional bodybuilder was, but now they certainly live and breathe it with me. What scares you more, failing or settling? Ooh, you guys got some really good questions, to be honest. What scares me more is definitely settling. I don't like to settle. I like to keep upscaling in every part of my life. So failing, no, I'm not afraid to fail, because failure is where I learn and I grow, and I know that something can always be done. So I take control of what I can when I fail, and then I make sure that I come out of that. But when it comes to settling, you stay in one spot. No, that's not me. Have you ever felt insecure on stage? Like on stage, to be honest, I don't think about my insecurities, but throughout the process, yeah, all the time. You know, bodybuilders, I would say, are the worst for body dysmorphia. We all point out like our imperfections, like my arms aren't big enough, my shoulders aren't big enough, my legs are too small. But then, like, you know, people that aren't on the level of bodybuilding will look at you and be like, are you crazy? Like, you look phenomenal, or you look amazing. Have I ever felt insecure on stage? No. Like on stage, I always make sure that I like bring it my best, and whatever happens on the day. happens, but I never take it as, I don't take anything wrong when it comes to constructive criticism. I don't compare myself to other athletes. But I would say maybe the start of my journey, a little bit, I would compare myself and be like, oh, she's got abs, she's got better shoulders. Not anymore. Once you do this sport enough, you start to understand that it's not about competing against others. Well, obviously it's a competition, but it's about bettering yourself every time you come back. What's something you used to tolerate that you don't anymore? That's a very deep question. There's a lot of things I don't tolerate anymore. I'm like looking at Mario like, you feel me? No, like I would say, okay, I don't tolerate bad attitude. If you've got bad attitude, you got a negative mindset, I don't want to be around you. Don't be around me, because I'm here to grow and be around good vibes only. And I think it's very important to be around positive mindsets or people that can encourage you. I'm trying to think back on my history, like as I've grown as a person, as an athlete, as a business owner, that the people that I surround myself with really matter. My environment really matters. So I don't tolerate people that bring my dreams down, because I have been around that and I have definitely gotten rid of those people in my life. I think I've had a part of my life where I felt like people were stepping all over me. I don't tolerate that anymore. Like if I don't feel good about something, I will definitely say it. I don't shut my mouth if I feel like I'm like uncomfortable in a situation. Like I'm very honest and open now. And I think one of the things I never used to do is like being honest with myself and being open to how it feel in a certain situation. Like I would always go with like a safe answer, but now it's like if I can't tolerate something, like I will let that person know that like I don't tolerate that and that's not okay. Would you rather know how to speak all languages in the world or be able to talk to animals? I love my dog Mateo. Here's Mateo right here, he's so cute. All languages in the world or just be able to talk to animals. You know what? I think I would want to talk to animals. Yeah, I'd love to talk to animals. I'd want like my dog to tell me like, hey, like I'm not feeling that great today, or like, you know, because there's been situations with Mateo. I'm like, what are you trying to tell me? Like, I want to know. Like, he would just like sit in the corner and like look at me like this, and I'm like, what? I'm like, you need water? Do you need food? And I would be like looking at his water and food, and it's like all good. So yeah, I think I would want to talk to animals, because I'm okay. Like right now, I only know how to speak English and a little bit of Filipino. I'm totally fine with that. I don't need to speak all languages of the world, no. Unless about like, if people talk shit, then you would know if they're speaking another language. You know what, what's so funny, actually, I remember my parents and I, we went to, I think it was Malaysia. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Malaysia. And we went to like this nice resort, and then there was like this dancer. And my dad is like so honest, like he is not someone that will sugarcoat anything, but he's speaking in Filipino, and he was like, oh my God, I'm talking crap about my dad right now, but he was like saying in Filipino, look at this dancer, like she doesn't even know how to dance properly. And he was saying it in Filipino, and then she came like next to us and like started dancing in front of us, and he was smiling like this. He's like, she's really like got no rhythm, like she does not know how to dance. Why is she here? And then she just goes, kamusta? We're like, oh, she's Filipino. And Dad's face turned so red. So yeah, I guess like there are some parts that I would love to like understand what other people are saying. But I even went to this grocery store one time, and this is when I was in Australia, and I do fully understand what my parents speak, their dialect, but I don't fully speak it. I would say half and half. But when someone's speaking it, I totally understand it. And I remember I went through the groceries and I purchased all my stuff, and then there was these two checkout guys, and then they were like, this girl, she's so beautiful. And in my head I was like, oh, thank you. But they were like older guys. They weren't being like pervy or anything like that. They were like, she's like really pretty. And then the guy was like, I wonder what nationality she is. And the other guy was like, I don't know, I think she's Chinese. And then the other guy goes, no, I think she looks more like Spanish, to be honest. And I remember I was like really tan that day, but I also had like winged eyeliner. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm confusing people right now. And then I was just speaking as so then obviously they're not gonna know that I'm Filipino, unless I put on the Filipino accent. And then the guy was just like, the guy that said I was Chinese was like, she kind of looks a bit Filipino though. What do you think? He goes, no, she's not Filipino. She's definitely something else. And I went, kamusta? And they're like, she's Filipino. Okay, we'll get off the language part now. But to be honest, I rather talk to animals. How did you start your bodybuilding journey? Okay, so how I started my bodybuilding journey, bodybuilding was never my number one goal to start. Like, so after I did my first show, I was like, yeah, you know what? I want to really, progress in this bodybuilding career. But at first I was like, I want to become like a pro athlete. I want to like be a bodybuilder. But the main drive for even getting into fitness in the first place was going through a breakup. And I know that a lot of you guys, a lot of us that get into fitness, like we have a deep, deep reason as to why we push as far as we do in the gym. I think the gym is such a good outlet. If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling angry, you're feeling heartbroken, whatever it is, if it's a confidence booster, you're feeling nervous or anxious, the gym is such a great place to be. And there's nothing better than like making yourself feel good and look good. And I was going through a breakup at the time, and I remember my lifestyle for that moment was horrible. When I was going through that breakup, I found out that my ex-boyfriend had been dating someone else in the last few months of our relationship. So he was seeing the both of us at the same time. But I remember we decided to have a chat not too long after we broke up. So we met up and we spoke, and he was telling me like, yeah, like I've started seeing someone else, like she's this, she's that, like just pretty much ticking all boxes in a woman that's got her shit together basically. And I remember looking at myself at that time and I was like, you know what, like I'm not even thinking about like my health or my career or my lifestyle, or I just didn't care at the time. My lifestyle at that moment was like I was smoking, I was drinking, I was partying, I was literally like working a casual job just to be able to like get by for the week, and then just put everything on like my new outfits, makeup, alcohol, food, hanging out with friends. And I had no drive and purpose. If this didn't happen, I definitely wouldn't be where I am right now. So when I was going through that, I was like, oh my God, like I want my ex-boyfriend back. Like I need to better myself. So it was about getting him back to start. I just wanted to get on top of my career. That's why I booked my first personal training session with a trainer. And then I was like, okay, I want to get fit, because the person that he chose was like a little bit more fitter, very pretty, and I was like, oh, I want to like look good. And I remember my goal was just like, I just want my ex-boyfriend back, because I really did love him so much at the time. And as soon as I got into the gym, I remember that very first session that I had with a personal trainer, and like he pushed me so hard that I actually like cried after I got into the car, because I was like, oh my God, like what am I doing this for? Like I'm literally doing this to get my ex-boyfriend back. And that was like my main drive. And then, so I booked in another 2 sessions. And so we did an upper body session, a lower body session, a full body session. The last one was the full body session, but the one that hurt the most was the lower body session. And I was like, I remember after that session, I was like shaking. And once I got a routine of working out, I started getting more hungry. So I started fueling myself better. And then I started looking better. I started feeling better. And I was like, damn, you know what? I'm gonna like drop my lifestyle. Like I don't want to drink, I don't want to smoke, I don't want to do all these things anymore, because I want to actually feel good like I do. And so that went on for like a good few weeks. My ex-boyfriend wasn't talking to me anymore, so he was like happy with his new girlfriend. And then I remember I used to just like go in his profile and like watch like what they're up to. I'm like, okay, they're so happy. And it got to a point where that was like slowing down, and I started focusing on myself a lot more. I became a PT, but I was also studying like a course on the side of that. So PT was never something that I was like super serious about. I just want to tick off, tick off the box on the list. And but I truly enjoyed fitness so much, and I never thought I did, because I lived such a horrible lifestyle. And I was like, damn, I actually feel good and like looking good. And you start connecting with better-minded people, you start connecting with fitter people, and then I realized then I started having this attraction being around like fit people and connecting with fit people. And I felt like I was in a totally different world, but I knew that I felt so much better than living the lifestyle that I was living. And I felt like I was actually getting somewhere, I felt like I had purpose every time I woke up. And so I think it was fast forwarding 2 months later, I announced that I became like a personal trainer, and then I definitely like leaned up a bit. I was definitely feeling myself, started uploading photos of like, you know, my abs and everything. And I remember my ex-boyfriend reached back out to me. And I remember, oh my God, yes, okay, he's like reached out to me now, okay. And he was like, hey, I just want to like see you. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And I was like, okay, like we're totally gonna get back together. So we went and had dinner, and then he was like telling me that he wanted me back, okay? And he said that he missed me, he still loved me, and then although he had been with someone else, like it's not the same. And then I remember for that moment, I was like, wow, like I can't believe like he actually came back. Like, oh, it's all working. So I just want to keep on top of this, focus my relationship with him. And then I remember he got like this phone call, and his phone kept like ringing and ringing, and he wasn't picking up in front of me. So I was just like, why isn't he picking up? I know I was gonna say make this long story short, but I gotta tell you guys because you know someone could be going through this, you know. He wasn't picking up on his phone, and then I knew it was the girl that he was seeing, because if you can't pick up on a phone call, and especially when I said you can pick up on that call, obviously you're hiding something, right? So I just knew straight away. Left it for a little bit. He was like, okay, well, I gotta go. I'll see you tomorrow, or I think it was the next day or something like that. And I was like, yeah, sure. And he just like drove off and he sped off. And I remember he told me that he was going to a particular friend's house. And this was a friend that was also like my friend at the time. So I was like, you know what? I'm not this type of person, but I just didn't have a good feeling. I just want to see if he's actually at that friend's house. So I didn't even go in front of the house. I just drove past the street and his car wasn't there. So I decided, you know, I'm going to call him. And then when I called him, he wasn't picking up. He kept rejecting my calls. I was like, he's with the girl. I was like, you know what? For that moment, I was just like, I put in like all this work and effort just trying to like get back with this guy. But now at this moment, I really feel like it's not worth it, you know? So I'm gonna call the girl. So I actually decided to contact that girl, and I sent her a message instead. And I said, hey, I just wanna like see if you guys are actually over, because this is what he has said. And she goes, well, no, like he was with me last night. And I was like, wow, like he literally seen us both on the same night. And she was just like, I can't believe he's seen you. And she was like so angry because I was like, he said that he's not going to be with you anymore. She was like, oh, we are very well together. And I was like, wow, he's going to do this 2-time thing again. I was like, you know what? I'm like done. I am done with this. And I said, she was like, you can have him. I was like, no, girl, I'm actually like fully done. And so I messaged him and I said, hey, look, like you didn't have to lie about it. Actually, if you told me the truth, I probably would have respected you a lot more. But I'm like totally done. Like you can go and live your life. And I remember my mindset for that moment would just like fully turn, full 180. And I was just like, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I attracted him back because like I was taking care of myself, and I don't want to live a life where it's going to be about getting my ex-boyfriend back. I'm actually going to just better myself, and then whatever I attract is what I attract. But it's not going to be about relationships. It's not going to be about anything. It's going to be about me growing myself and making sure that I got a good future. So fast forwarding, I ended up doing very well in bodybuilding. I ended up achieving my coaching business, and I never looked back. And every time I have like clients that come to me and they're like going through a breakup or like this, I'm like, I know how you're feeling. But what I've learned in my journey is that you got to put yourself first. You got to go after what you want. Do not try and achieve goals for the sake of other people. It's got to be for you. You got to find your deeper meaning as to why you want to do things, why you want to, and not for other people, because you'll end up being unhappy if it's not for yourself. You got to do things for the right reasons. So that was how I started my bodybuilding journey. And here we are. Now we got an online business. I'm coaching athletes. I'm freaking loving life. And I got no one telling me what to do, you know? And I don't feel like with all the connections I made after that, I knew what I didn't tolerate anymore, and I knew what I wouldn't take in my life anymore. And if I felt really funny in my gut for anything, then I knew it wasn't for me. So now I'm like at a point where it's like I can put my foot down. I know when something's not for me. And in result, that's just made me really happy over the years. So right now, like when it comes to my goals, that just makes me more happier than anything. Yeah, but sorry that went so deep, guys. I told you I'd make a long story short, but like I said, like someone could be going through the exact same thing. And I want you guys to know that you are number one. You have to put yourself first and never forget you in the process of anything that you're doing, because when you put yourself first, you will grow and you'll be so grateful later on down the years. Do men get intimidated by strong women in this industry? Okay, so it really depends on like what context though, like as in like success or like bodybuilding as in like physique wise. Should we just go both? Kind of go both. Okay, so for like physique wise, absolutely. If a guy ever told me like you're getting too muscly, I'm like, then you're just not musclier than me. Or if a guy goes like, oh, you shouldn't be like getting so big as a woman, and I still believe I'm still on my feminine side, you know, then I'm like, then you're probably intimidated by the fact that my guns might be bigger than yours. So for that aspect, yes, I do think that guys do get intimidated by girls that may be fitter than them or may have more muscle than them, especially these days, because like fitness is definitely trending now. There's a lot of fit people now, not just like in the industry, not just in like what do you call it, like bodybuilding. Everyone is like really getting into the fitness lifestyle these days. Now for business, in terms of like success, I think it really depends. It depends. I believe that there is such thing as connecting with people that are like, that have the same mindset as you and want to push each other, where that you would want to push each other to be able to grow and level up together. But I have had experience where I feel like a guy has felt intimidated with like what I do and not make me feel so good about it in a way. What's the word for it? Like emasculating a person. But then I realized that like I have to like connect with people that want to level up with me. I don't want someone to be one-upping me every time too. I mean, like, you know, I am a female at the end of the day, like traditionally, right? Like guys should be doing better. But in this world right now, I think what matters the most is that you're able to support your partner and level up and grow together. So for that part, but I do still believe that there are men that would be intimidated by women when it comes to success, for sure. There's a lot of things these days that women can do now that weren't able to do back in the day. Like we are in a totally different era now. Like women are able to achieve the goals that they want now. It's not about just staying at home or just being a mom or just a housewife. You know, we've got access to a lot of things that can help us level up in life. What's your biggest red flag now? What I see in other people, I would assume. Honestly, I just have one answer, just negative mindset. That's a big red flag for me. I don't like bad mindsets. I don't like people that are always talking about sad things. Like obviously, like if someone's going through something, I understand that, but it's more like when you choose to focus on the bad things, when you can take control of good things in your life and come out of something bad, it's good. But you know what I mean? Like when people like live in the past or like never, like they let things drag them down, when you can actually come out of that, you know, that's kind of like a real turn off for me. Do you have any athletes that are better in fit model or bikini and decide to do the opposite division? Yes. When it comes to the decision making of this, because fit model is a very new division, right now we're still having our first pro show that's coming up in the next week. So that will really set the standard of fit model. Now as you guys have noticed, the fit model pose and the bikini front pose are different. And the conditioning and the muscle maturity that you have in bikini is a little bit harder and more conditioned. But I would say that the old bikini was kind of along the lines of where fit model is at now, which has made bikini much harder as a division. Now, how do I determine who goes where and who does what when it comes to like my athletes? It really depends until the person poses out. I have athletes where they have like the conditioning of like a bikini athlete, but then when they pose, they just don't suit it and they don't hit that mandatory pose where it ticks all boxes or create hourglass shape, but then they hit the fit model pose and I'm like, whoa, like that's it. So sometimes I do battle between that with my athletes. If that is the case, then we will cut back on a few things to kind of either fill the athlete out a little bit or soften the athlete up a little bit, because no matter what they do in terms of posing, like they actually pull off the fit model pose. And you want to put yourself in a division where you know you're going to be on the higher end rather than the bottom, you know? And so if that means that you have to take a step back and go down in a division, or you have to take a step forward to be able to go up in a division, you're just going to have to do what you got to do, because at the end of the day, you are being judged on your looks. And unfortunately, in this sport, it's not about your life story. It's about ticking all the boxes on the criteria scoreboard. So I have had athletes that have gone from bikini to fit model and vice versa, but it does come down to ticking all the boxes and seeing where they tick the boxes out the most. Have you ever regretted doing a show? I like this question because sometimes people get into shows at moments where they shouldn't be. There was one show I would say that I did regret doing because I knew that I wasn't at my best. But doing that show also taught me to be more prepared for shows that come up now. But I remember that I had a very, very hard year, and this was when I first got my pro card in the Natural Federation that I was a part of. This was my pro debut for that division, for that show. And I remember that was the year where it was like I was like super stressed. I was really like trying to work a lot of hours, and prep was like, honestly, it was very, very hard, but I still got through it. You know when they say like whatever it takes, I was literally doing whatever it took just to be able to get on that stage. But I knew mentally I wasn't there. Physically, it just wasn't my best. But I remember, because I felt like I had promised a lot of people, I felt like I was pressured to do the show, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. But I knew deep down that like I was not ready for it. So that was my first pro show that I'd ever done for, I think it was INBA back in the day. And I got second place, okay? So before you guys judge me, remember I told you guys that I had a very strong start to my bodybuilding journey. So getting second felt like losing to me. When you get second, it's like I could have gotten first, but like maybe I could have done something better, you know? I knew in like deep down, like when I was on stage, I already had that feeling like, okay, I'm probably not going to get it this time, because I knew I wasn't 100% for this prep. And when you feel that way, you bring that energy onto stage. The judges know when you are feeling yourself, when you're not. And if you're not gonna bring out that confidence, you're not gonna bring out your best, then they can't see your confidence and they can't see your best, which you get marked on, you know? But now after that show there, I did learn that like, it's super important to be 100% and make sure that you are very happy in the process of going onto stage. Now, not happy in the sense of like, you know, it's just gonna be the whole time, because it's not, right? And there's a lot of crying behind the scenes and a lot of pain. Being an athlete, like we make a lot of sacrifice over the period of prep. But what I mean is that mentally you have to be like, whatever comes my way, I'm prepared for it. I'm gonna get on that stage and I feel good about it. And now, which is why I haven't competed on stage for a couple years now, is because if I had hopped on stage last year, I feel like that's the result I would have gotten. To be honest, if anything, worse. I had a very big year last year. So I regretted going on stage that time, and that taught me to be able to make sure that I'm prepared to go on stage this time. And although I can't promise myself like what I'm gonna place, or I can't say that like I'm definitely gonna get first place, but when you're not mentally there, you're not prepared for the process, or you feel like you can't make it a priority, because this is a selfish sport. If you get into bodybuilding, you're in it to win it, and you should be in it to win it, then you have to put it as first. And if it's not first, then it's honestly better that you put that aside for a little bit and do it at a time where you know you could put that first. Because if your goal is to win and it's not your priority and you kind of brush it to the side, you're gonna be so unhappy that you're gonna come with the result that you don't get. I'm a competitive person. I know what I want. The next time I go on stage, especially putting in the work that I did in this off season, I wanna make sure that I make it to the Olympia. So did I regret that time? Looking back, yes, I regret going on stage at that time because I knew I shouldn't have done it. But if I didn't do it, then I wouldn't know what this feels like and I wouldn't make better decisions now. So yes and no. But anyways, okay, we had a lot of questions there. There was a few questions, but I feel like we chose the best ones. We will do Q&As time to time. I feel like it's a good way to kind of get to know me and my journey a little bit as well. We hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time.